walk the road less traveled. Whenever you're given a choice, always choose the road that nobody else or that fewer people choose to go on. Because everything that you want in life, it's on the other side of the road that you're not willing to go, that you're not willing to take. Now, I had this notion when I was a kid, when I was growing up, when I was 16, 17, 18 years old, right? Not too long ago, but still pretty long ago. And I had this notion that I wanted to be unique, and I wanted to walk the road less traveled just for the sake of it. And I just wanted to stand out from the crowd. And I found that if I'm unique, if I stand out from the crowd, then somehow I will be this good person, or I will get what I want. I was doing it for the sake of doing it. I didn't really know, or I didn't really have the knowledge or the science-based evidence behind what I was doing. But then when I researched all across the internet about and studied the lives of the elites, and these are the wealthy people. These are not your typical internet guru, not your typical people who you see on the internet. These are pretty badass people. These are people worth $100 million. These are CEOs these are faceless CEOs. You don't even know their names, don't even know their faces even. And when I studied them, I realized that they were nothing short of anomalies. They were super different. They made life choices that were different. They didn't even eat the same way as normal people did. They didn't hang out with friends. They didn't have these normal routines, normal lifestyle. And to the normies, which I call normies, all these NPCs, all the normal people, and I was one of them, okay? So I'm not really being offensive to all of you. If I'm being offensive, I'm being offensive to my old self first, and then to you, okay? I am being a little offensive, okay? I admit that. But to the normies, they think that they have labeled these elite people as extremists. And they've labeled all these people as people who don't have any balance. See, in work, when you have a goal and you need to achieve this massive goal of hitting over multiple figures online and making money that is more than $100 million, you have to make choices that are super extreme. And that is what I found, that these people, they walked extremely differently when you compare them with other people. And they really walked the road, I wouldn't even say less traveled, I would say not traveled at all. But it kind of makes sense that there are a lot of billionaires as well, so they have walked, some people have walked that road as well. But in life, every time that you get a chance, and even if you don't get a chance, make one and really jump and make that leap of walking the road less traveled. And that comes from really following the first principle, which is to cut off your old friends and really not listen to your old circle. It could be your uncle, it could be your relatives. Don't listen to them. Yes, respect them, but don't listen to them, because all these people, they've stayed the same. All of your old friends, they're gonna hold you back. They're gonna tell you that you cannot achieve anything. Wait, I've got an alarm because I use alarms, and I am going through this identity shift and I need reminders. So I have got this alarm of a task I need to do. I'll be back in a bit. Okay, I am back, closed off the alarm, and in front of you, looking handsome as always. Now give me a kiss. That was kind of weird. But I am kind of weird, and it's okay. And that is my point. You're gonna look weird, you're gonna act weird, and to the normies, you'll be the weirdest person in the room because they can't comprehend where you're headed. They can't see the identity shift being happening. You can't see it, but you can see it with these small little steps, small little weird steps that they might deem as weird, that they might deem as extreme. You gotta do all that, and you gotta do it every single day. So for me, I don't really hang out with anybody else, and that includes my friends. I don't hang around with my friends often. Maybe in 2 months or 3 months we hang around once, and I don't find any fulfillment when I hang around with them either. Because I know I'm on a path. I know that I need to sit alone and dedicate really my four years of my life doing what is necessary for me with my own goals, which is to become multimillionaire. And for that, I had made extreme choices. I've stopped listening to music. I've abstained from girls totally. No chatting, no hanging around anymore. And I've stopped watching movies, stopped watching TV shows. I've limited my social media usage. So I don't really use Instagram that often. I do watch a lot of YouTube, and a lot of YouTube of, I study the CEO of the multimillionaires, and I've even made a video on Steve Jobs where I've broken down what his mindset was like. And even when I'm not making a video, I am watching something on the internet, on YouTube, and really dissecting the minds and really getting all the knowledge, because anything you want you can get from YouTube. So I still use YouTube, but I don't listen to music, don't watch movies, don't watch TV shows, abstain from girls, and what else do I do? Don't hang out around with anybody else other than my family. No friends, not even chatting with friends, none of that, because I know I need to be like a horse with blinders. I can't see at every single distraction because I need to be laser focused. Now, do I want to have a lot of friends? Yes. Or do I want to spend time with girls? Of course. I get this feeling every single day. Do I want to listen to music? I love music, but I can't. It alters the mood, alters the frequency, with the frequency of 432 or something hertz. It alters the frequency of the mind, puts you in a negative state, puts you in this weird depressive state. But people are doing it. I don't watch movies, don't watch any TV shows, because guess what? My brain, it starts to problem solve. And when I watch something, I just start to think about that thing for the entirety of the week. So my brain is on autopilot, it's solving the problem of that protagonist in that movie. And I'm thinking about what else could the protagonist have done. And I've seen that movie with Leonardo DiCaprio. I don't know its name. It was pretty good. What was that? Shutter Island. Yes. I've seen that movie, and then I went into this rabbit hole of what could have been the other ending and what the ending meant, and I went on all these conspiracy theories. Basically, the gist is that my brain starts to just push for more information and just problem solve and just really become obsessed with whatever I watch. And the same is with girls as well, and with friends as well. Whenever I hang around with people, I want to hang around with them even more. And it's a loop, and I think about all the conversation, it just takes up a lot of my brain memory. And if you know this channel, I talk about a lot about energy, because I've seen the CEOs really channel all of their energy into their business. And I know business or anything you're doing, it requires a lot of focus and energy. And by energy, I mean one form of energy is focus. So all that you need, all of you should be laser focused into one thing. Whatever you're doing, whatever your career is, if it's not business, if it's a job, it should be solely focused in that. And then you could have other things as well. I'm not saying that you should be like me, but if your goal is to be really, really successful, you need to really channel all of your energy into one thing. And all these distractions, which I don't do anymore, these really limited my energy, and my energy was sporadic. It was scattered all around, and I could feel it. I was giving only my 10% when it came to work or business. Now I really have this sort of superpower, which I can channel into my business. And now I come up with all of these genius ideas. I innovate immensely in my business. And I get this, I call these ideas revelations. Because I get these revelations throughout, randomly during the day. And it's just fascinating for me because it's sent none other than God Himself. And I'm really thankful for Him for giving me all of the ideas. But this is what happens when you channel everything into one thing. And but doing it requires sacrifices. And these are the sacrifices whenever we say, but business requires sacrifice, and you need to sacrifice in order to become successful. Most people don't even know what sacrifice even means. But this is exactly what it means. It means to sacrifice music, it means to sacrifice goals, it means to sacrifice your friend circle, sacrifice all the shit that you did back then, all the old habits that you had. Now I'm not a superhuman. I still have bad habits, like I still play video games. And I am willing to cut it off. I still have problem waking up at 5 a.m. But this is also, again, I need to really do it. And I need to work on it. Needless to say, you need to become this unique person that stands out. You need to stand out with your life choices. I'm not saying be a peacock and just wear something really, really weird and just so that people just notice you. I used to do that as well. See, when I had this notion that I needed to be this guy who stands out, I used to wear weird colored clothes that I wasn't even a fan of. I would wear this dark, bright red color shirt, and I would have all these styles of clothing that just, it didn't suit me, but I stood out, and that was just my petty little goal back then. But now I've channeled the same thing with my life choices instead. So instead of being this guy, this anomaly, this person who walks the road less traveled and who's unique, who stands out in terms of his physical appearance, you can do the same thing with your life choices, with the habits that you have, and with really down to the daily actions that you do. You can really stand out there. And standing out and being an anomaly in that area, it's gonna help you become that person who achieves the success that he has always dreamt of. Because think about it. If it was so easy for anybody to become a multimillionaire, we would have everybody having $100 million in their bank. Right? There has to be a catch. There has to be something, some sort of catch in the system that would prevent normal people, everyday Joes, to enter this competition of becoming multimillionaire. the gap between and this, what I mentioned as, I forgot what I mentioned, but this gap, that is the sacrifice, and that is where you have to walk the road less traveled, and you have to make these extreme choices. That is the secret recipe of success, and that is what also prevents so many people, I would argue 99.9% of the people, it prevents all these people from entering this competition of having $100 million in their bank. Now, I would make a separate video on what it means to be successful. I mean, don't get me wrong, money is all good and all, but it is not about money. It's really not. And I'll talk about the core and peripherals. Money is just a peripheral. It comes after you focus on the core. And the irony is when you focus on the core, only then you get the peripheral in shape of money. And what's fascinating is that it's not even having $100 million in your bank or having this 6-car garage. It's about the work ethic itself. I'll make a separate video on it so it doesn't become a 30-minute long rant on another topic as well. But all I want you to do is just kiss me and watch all my videos, because that is gonna help you change your life.